Hey guys, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. Second video in a day. Pretty strange, but yeah. So the last video, as I said, I'm going to be going through some silly season talk, pretty much for supercars, Formula One, and MotoGP. Ever since of course all three of these racing series are on this weekend. I did supercars earlier today, which at the time of recording is out now. I recommend you pause this video and go back and watch that, and then once you finish that, come back on here. Basically, if not, then just stay here. Basically, so yeah, so I did supercars. Now time for MotoGP, and I did add some things into this, obviously, thanks to a post that I found on Facebook by Everything Moto Racing, which I recommend you following. I highly recommend. It has all the news surrounding, of course, MotoGP, and also Moto3 and Moto2, but I think World Superbikes as well, and all that. So I highly recommend you following them on Facebook as well. I don't know if they have any other social media, but I recommend them on Facebook. But they did a post, as I'm recording this, earlier today, which is a Saturday, currently on a Saturday, 18th of June, as I'm recording this, at just about at 25 to 9 at night. But this morning I did come across a post about a whole amount of Paddock rumours regarding the silly season for 2023. And I'm going to go through them all. So we'll start off with factory alphabetical, with manufacturer alphabetical order. So we'll start off with Aprilia. Now, they're a Aprilia factory team that's going to remain the same, obviously, with Maverick Vinales and Alicia Spargaro. Aprilia have basically one of the best bikes on the grid at the moment right now, with Alicia Spargaro getting its first pole and win at Argentina, and I think it's led the championship, I believe. I think someone please confer with me on that, but I think it has led the championship. The big interesting thing is the new With You RNF team, which was a Yamaha team this year with Andrea Dovizioso and Daryl Binder. It's now going to be an Aprilia satellite team. So for the first time, Aprilia is going to have a satellite team. And they haven't announced their rider lineup yet. There was once rumours that was around that the two riders that were going to be signed were Alex Rins and Raul Fernandez, which, with the Fernandez situation, I'll get to in a bit when I get to Tech 3. But Rins, of course, it's unfortunate that, of course, Suzuki are pulling out of the sport. It's a bit of a shame because, obviously, they've been so successful in their second comeback, to MotoGP since 2015. I mean, Vinales, of course, Alicia Spargaro has competed for them. Adrian Iannone as well, of course, that's the team that Rins made his debut with, the team that Johan Mir made his debut with, and unfortunately they're going out. So so both Rins and Mir would have to go separate ways and look for rides elsewhere. But the new rumours that were circling around the MotoGP paddock at the Sachsenring this weekend was that current Moto2 championship leader Chilisto Vietti, I think I've mentioned his first name right. Who, as I said, is the current Moto2 leader of that championship, has been rumoured to be taking one of those seats. Now, the other rumour is about the latest rumour about Alex Rins is we don't know where he's going to go. But it was clear that it was going to be with this new RNF Aprilia team, but now we don't know about that now. So and also Raul Fernandez is also there's also rumours of him potentially going to another team, which I'll get to later. And we don't know what Dobby's plans are going to be, and we don't know what Daryl Binder's plans are going to be. If Binder's going to get kept, we don't know. But yeah. So that is that with Aprilia, news with Aprilia. Now we get to the interesting thing, DUCATI. And the most interesting thing, which is the factory team. Now we all know. We've all know. You all know the news about Jack Miller leaving the team to join factory KTM, which I'll bring my limited thoughts on later on. But they still haven't confirmed that who would be the teammate for Pecco Bagnaia. The two riders that were rumoured to be in contention for that seat were Enea Bastianini and Jorge Martin. But now with this recent rumour that was circling around the paddock, is that the firm favourite is actually Jorge Martin. A bit of a shock, because obviously Enea Bastianini has been a title contender, I should say, on that GP21 in the Gresini team. But he has had a bit of a drop-off in form in recent rounds. So and also both Martin and Bastianini have big potentials. And I don't know why I have a feeling that the suggestion of Martin being the one that goes up to the factory team is all Bagnaia's doing, because if you hadn't heard, Bagnaia said that he would not want Bastianini to be his teammate, because he didn't want, because something to do with not having the confidence that the factory team would have two number one riders in their team, which I don't think it's a good idea for them. But I think I thought I think this is more Bagnaia wanting to keep his number one status in the team, and I think he really wanted for DUCATI to keep Miller, but unfortunately with Bastianini and Martin's performance, with Bastianini's performances and of course Martin's potential, it was obvious that they were gonna push Jack out the door, not intentionally, but So the question I think everyone will be asking me is, who would I like, the Beast or the Martinator? The strong belief that Martin is the favourite, but I would rather have Bastianini in the team, because it would be interesting as a spectator, as a fan, and I like to see how two big future Italian stars go in the same team. it doesn't matter if it goes for 1 year, if it lasts for one season or lasts for multiple seasons. Okay, so long as we get to see both Bastianini and Bagnaia, as I said, two future Italian stars in the same team. That would be great to see from a fan's perspective. But inside the team, that would be difficult because that would mean because definitely Bastianini's number one in that team, in that factory team, and Bastianini's number one in the Gresini team. So that will be a bit of a problem. But I recommend. I think for me, it's an interesting debate who will get it, Bastianini or Martin. Maybe comment down below. Who would you think will get that seat? Do you think it'll be Bastianini or Martin? Comment down below. As always, your thoughts and opinions. To the Pramac team, no rumors about who. So if that would be throw a spanner in the works if Martin does get promoted up. Who do I think will get bumped up into that team? I still don't know. I don't know. At the moment, it's clearly gonna be Zarco and Martin currently at Pramac for next year, I'd assume. The next big one is Gresini. Now, there was recent rumors swirling around that Miguel Oliveira was very strongly going to go to Gresini, but now it seems like that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. The one that the new rumor swirling around is that Raul Fernandez is going to go to the Gresini team instead of Oliveira, which will be a good move for Fernandez. I think it'll be a good move for him to go to a Ducati team and see how he goes on a Ducati compared to a KTM. And there's another shocking rumor going around that Fabio Di Giannantonio, who I think has improved in the last month ever since, of course, he got that shock pole position at Mugello, is linked to a return to Moto2, which is surprising, to be honest, because he looks, for me, I think for me it's surprising that he. I still don't know if that's Gresini shoving him out the door, or is it Ducati shoving him out the door at Gresini to possibly fit in, Fernandez, possibly fit in Fernandez in there as well. So it's just interesting. It's interesting for me that they're saying that Fabio Di Giannantonio is possibly going to be turning to Moto2. Now for it's one of the first suspicions for me, but I think a rider who I think in that Ducati fold would be perfect in a team like Gresini, I think, would be Luca Marini. And I think that would work perfectly for both Gresini and for the VR46 team. Because that would mean that if Bastianini decides to go to the factory team, and if it's true that Digi is going back to Moto2, then Gresini could sign Raul Fernandez, and then they could possibly sign Luca Marini as that number one rider, as that new number one rider in the team. That just makes perfect sense. And then have Vietti, if he does win the Moto2 World Championship, he can be Marco Bezzecchi's new teammate at the VR46 team. it just makes perfect sense, in my opinion. It just makes perfect sense. Speaking of the BR46 team, of course, Marini and Bezzecchi are currently they haven't confirmed their riders, but there's 3 possible candidates, which are of course Marini, Bezzecchi, and Vietti. And I think, as I said about Marini, it just makes sense that Marini goes to Gresini to replace Bastianini, and then that would mean that Vietti will get bumped up to MotoGP alongside Bezzecchi, and then Bezzecchi would get the factory spec Decimo Sedici, and then which will be I would assume will be the GP23, and then Vietti will get the GP22. Which probably it's not the best idea, because obviously the Ducati GP22 is not particularly a great bike this year. It's the point that that Bastianini has been the best Ducati rider this year, and he's on a GP21. So that's saying something. But they might. But if it's true that Vietti might go to the RNF Aprilia team, then that just solves all the problems, because that would mean they'll just keep Marini and Bezzecchi. Just keep Marini and Bezzecchi. But I don't know. But the problem is, though, if Bastianini does go up to the factory team, and then of course they sign then of course Gresini signed Raul Fernandez, who would be in that second team if Digi decides to go? Agrees to go back to Moto2. Who would take over that seat? Because Oliveira is now off the table, so I don't know where they will go with that. But yeah. So the Ducati fold's going to be it's going to be the most interesting part of this silly season for sure. I think. I think, in my opinion, Honda are next. Of course, with the Repsol Honda team, of course, Marc Marquez, of course. As you guys all know, he's had a successful surgery again on his arm that he of course he broke, of course, as everyone knows, at the 2020 Spanish Grand Prix. Hope he's doing very well. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him back again this season, but hopefully he recovers very soon. Hopefully we'll see him next year. But the big thing will be who will be his teammate. Now, it was confirmed, of course, that Pol Espargaro, well, not confirmed, but it was almost confirmed that Pol Espargaro will not be part of that team in 2023. There's been a big rumor swirling around. It's been massive that Joan Mir will be moving to that team, moving from the soon to be defunct Suzuki team to the Repsol Honda team. There was rumors also around that before Fabio Quartararo signed his contract, re-signed with Yamaha, that he was going to go to Repsol Honda, and it was either him or Mir that would be. And I always thought, in my opinion, that's going to be hard, because they're both sponsored by Monster Energy, and the team's sponsored by Red Bull. This is a thing that everybody doesn't understand. Nobody understands just how hard it is to switch from one brand to another, and Monster and Red Bull just doesn't work. It's like having it's like for example, in Formula One, Red Bull signs Lewis Hamilton. It's just not gonna work, because obviously one is sponsored by Monster, the other one or in another main sense is, in another sense is, for example, in rallying, Ken Block and Sebastian Loeb would sometime become teammates. It just doesn't work. It just does not work, and it's quite hard to break. It's quite harder than what it is to break a branded deal. I always thought that if I were to choose who would break their Monster Energy brand deal out of Fabio and Joanne, I was always gonna say Joanne Mir, because obviously, of course, he's gonna be teammates with Marc Marquez. He's gonna be teammates with Marc Marquez. Why would he jump at the chance that only one break a Monster brand? He break a deal with Monster Energy. 2, sign with Repsol Honda, and 3, become a Red Bull athlete. He would just jump at the chance, to be honest. So I have a feeling that if I have to guess when do I think that deal will get announced, I think it'll be Aragon. I think because obviously it's Mir's home race. It's Repsol. It's the sponsor's home race. I think it's the sponsor's home race, I believe. So that's probably when it's gonna get announced that if Mir will be a part of that team or not. That would be the interesting part. Now the other team in LCR Honda, currently they've got Taka Nakagami and Alex Marquez. There was strongly rumours to which Miguel Oliveira was gonna go to LCR Honda, but he's since denied it. There was talks that Ai Agura was going to be a part of that team to replace Taka Nakagami, but now he's come out and said he's not ready for Moto2, which if it's said on everything Moto Racing Facebook page, that it is going to throw a spanner in the works, and it might be a lifeline for Taka, because he hasn't. For the last 2 years now, I think he hasn't performed up to expectations. I believe. I think some people will probably suspect that new Honda RC213V is not as good as people thought it was going to be. Everybody thought that when Marc Marquez got the front row start, and then Paul Espargaro led for most of the race at Qatar, and then came home in third. Everybody thought that covered the cracks, but it hasn't really. And adjust camera, adjust position. It just hasn't worked. Not only with the factory team, but also with LCR, to be honest, as well. So the only for me, I think Agura was probably the only one I would suggest that was going to be the main change in that team. I don't think Alex Marquez was going to get the chop. Even if Oliveira did say yep, I want to go to there. I think there was no way that Alex Marquez was probably going to leave that anyway. KTM, of course, KTM next. The factory team, of course, the big news, of course, that they signed Jack Miller to ride alongside Brad Binder. To sign alongside Brad Binder now. my thoughts on this whole thing, I think it's a good move for Jack. I think he's been a part of that Ducati fold for what is it, for 5 years now. And unfortunately the factory team, it's had a bit of a reputation as spitting riders, of eating riders up and spitting them back out. It's happened for years. It happened with Hayden. It happened with Crutchlow. It's happened even with Rossi. Sorry. It's happened with Hayden. It's happened with Crutchlow. It's happened with, well, it's fair to say Andretti only got a harsh sacking, obviously, because they really wanted Lorenzo. Speaking of him, they spat Lorenzo out, and even Petrucci, even Dobby, and now Miller's been added to the list. And fair to say, because not only one, Bastianini and Martin are way more faster riders than him. We all know that. But if you think about this here, this makes it unfortunate of his 2021 season. If you take the Spanish Grand Prix win out of the equation, for example, because obviously he only won that due to obviously Quartararo having arm pump. If you take that, for example, if Quartararo didn't have arm pump and went on to win that race, for example, and he still went, well, we'll give him the French Grand Prix win. He deserved that win in the end. If you take the Spanish Grand Prix win out of the equation, it's basically another mediocre season for Jack, and it has been the same. It's same with this too. He's been close to being a podium contender, but not close enough, and that's probably why that's cost him his spot in the Ducati fold. That's why he's gone to KTM. It's gone to Red Bull KTM, a team which he went runner up in the Moto3 World Championship 8 years ago. I still can't believe that's 8 years ago. It just goes by very quickly. When he was runner up to Alex Marquez in the Moto3 World Championship in 2014. How do I think he'll fare against Binder? I think he'll go alright. I think he'll go alright. I'm worried that, much like Petrucci did, I think he won't gel on that KTM, and then I'm worried. I'm very, very concerned that this is Jack's last shot in MotoGP. I mean, who is there? The question is there going to be another team if this fails? Where his next MotoGP deal is going to come from? It's just unfortunate. And what is he going to do next after if this fails and he decides, nah, I'm not going to do MotoGP anymore? Does he go to World Superbikes? Does he either come back to Australia and do Australian Superbike Championship full time? That's the big question. What does he do if this fails? But that's in the future. But I think this is a great move. I think for Jack. Now for the Tech Free Factory team. Of course, it's 100% confirmed that the current rider lineup of Raul Fernandez and Remy Gardner is not going to be, because if you guys hadn't known, Fernandez and Gardner do not like each other. They don't like each other at all ever since, of course, they fought for that Moto2 World Championship last year. They have not liked each other. And of course, the Tech Free's the boss at Tech Free, Hervé Poncharal, has warned the two riders on many occasions this year to, of course, stop squabbling. In other words, that's not what he said, but that's not what it's confirmed. But that's what it is. That's what it sounds like. And that's what's probably the reason why, of course, probably Fernandez is probably gonna get the chop after 1 year and getting a stint on his way. The rumor was that originally that Miguel Oliveira would get a demotion from the factory team to back to Tech 3, but he obviously rejected it straight up and said, no, I'm not getting a demotion. It's either me staying in the factory team or I'm going somewhere else, and it's more likely he's going to go somewhere else. The new rumor in the paddock is that Pol Espargaro is going to make a comeback with the Tech 3 team. Remember, he was a part of the Tech 3 team when it was with Yamaha from 2014 to 2016. So it's basically a comeback to him in a lot of ways. Not only a comeback to Tech 3, but also a comeback for him to KTM, because obviously he was with KTM from 2017, of course, to 2020. So he's going to come back not only to KTM, into the KTM fold, but also into Tech 3. So, and I think that would be a great move, not only for Pole but also for Remy Gardner. I think he would benefit benefiting off someone who, one, has experience on that KTM bike, and two, he has way more experience than him. So I think he would benefit from Pole as a teammate more than Fernandez, to be honest. Obviously, because they don't like each other, obviously. So yeah. So that's with KTM, and finally, of course, Yamaha. There's the one team, obviously, with obviously now with the RNF team moving to Aprilia. They've recently confirmed with Fabio Quartararo and Franco Morbidelli. There was rumours circling around that if Quartararo didn't want to re-sign with Yamaha, they were looking into reigning World Superbike champion Toprak Razgatlioglu. In fairness, I have had some practice recently in saying that last name. But that's all been quashed now with Quartararo re-signing with the team. And I don't think there will be a Yamaha satellite team. I think next year. I don't think it's only just going to be the factory team that's going to be the main focus, and that's it. So yeah, unless they buy out the Suzuki factory team and turn into a satellite team, turn into an X-Star satellite, a Yamaha satellite team. There's no way that, unfortunately, that it's going to be. There's no way that there's going to be a Yamaha satellite team in 2023. Sorry. So yeah. So that is just about it for this. Talk about silly season for MotoGP for 2023. So make sure you like this video. Share to anybody who's a MotoGP fan. Comment down below, as I said during the video, who would you rather see on that factory DUCATI team? Would you like Bastianini? Would you like Martin in there as well? And also your thoughts as well. And do you have any of your own suspicions about who should go where? Who should go where in MotoGP next year? Do you have your own suspicions? I would love to see it, to hear them. If it might be something simple or something completely left field. I would love, as I said, I would love to know. I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. And one last thing, click somewhere down there, the big red button, which is labeled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I will see you later.